Imagine you have a bow and arrow and you're wanting to shoot that bow and arrow, but you don't have a target. This is how most of us are living our lives. We've got this bow and arrow at the ready and we're just randomly shooting at different things and hoping that one of them sticks.
Welcome to the Lyssn podcast, your space to tune out the noise and tune in to the wisdom that already lives inside you. I'm Alyssa, and through soulful conversations and grounded reflections, we explore what it means to live your bliss, to walk through life aligned, intuitive, embodied, and lit up from within. Because the answers you're seeking, well, you already hold them. The real question is, do you have the courage to listen?
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to the Lyssn podcast. My name is Alyssa, but you can just call me Lyss. Now, today we are talking about one of my favorite topics, and this is something that I think is crucial to knowing how to show up in life and in your world in the most aligned way. It is your why. Your purpose, your reason for getting out of bed in the morning, even when it feels really hard, the heartbeat behind all of your dreams, the true north of your compass. And so many of us are walking around with no purpose, or you think you know what your purpose is, and it really actually isn't your purpose. And so what happens is every time you attempt to reach those goals and dreams that you have, there's always some kind of obstacle in the way, or it just doesn't quite work. And that's because it's not actually your purpose. It may be somebody else's purpose. It may not be aligned with the truth of who you really are. It may be something that was forced on you, or something that you believe should be your purpose because society tells you that it should be. But really, it's not actually your truth and your real why. So we're going to be diving into how to figure out what your why is and how to then use that as your compass in life. When I work with my clients one-on-one, this is like my number one. I do this in our very first session because I think it is so crucial that we figure out what is going on in your life. So if you've worked with me before, we go through what I call the bliss compass, and we have a look at what your life currently looks like and whether it is in balance, or perhaps there are sections that are being neglected. And then what we do is find that centerpiece, that why, so that you can really step into all of the goals that you then will create, so that you can truly live that life of bliss. Because so many of us are just wandering through life with no true goal. So one of the analogies that I absolutely love to use is a bow and arrow. Firstly, because I'm a Sagittarius, just call me Katniss Everdeen, and because it really helps to visualize what it is that I'm talking about. So I want you to imagine you have a bow and arrow and you're wanting to shoot that bow and arrow, but you don't have a target. This is how most of us are living our lives. We've got this bow and arrow at the ready and we're just randomly shooting at different things and hoping that one of them sticks. When you have a target to work towards, when you have a goal, you know what it is that you're aiming for, so you can shoot towards that goal over and over and over again, that target, until you hit that bullseye. But most of us are too busy going, oh, that looks good. I'll kind of shoot over there at that one. But then, oh, there's another one over here. Let me shoot at that one. Let me shoot over there at that one. Oh, I got a bit closer to that one. So maybe I'll shoot a few more times at that one. That didn't work. Okay, let's go over to this next one over here towards my right. Oh, no. Okay, over to the left, there's another one. Oh, behind me. That's a pretty goal. I did want to do that eventually. And I thought about it a couple of years ago, but I didn't actually get around to it. Let me shoot backwards and see if that one's still one that I could go for. You know what I mean? People are constantly just aiming for all of these different goals that are all over, but not all of the goals are meant for you. Most of those goals are for other people. There might be 1, 2, possibly 3 for you, but that's it. There's not an abundance of all of these goals and you have to just attempt to hit all of them. And I think sometimes we do feel like that because we're sold or marketed this idea that your life will only be blissful if you do X, Y, Z. And I think that's where I find that it's really important to tune back in, as I always say, to your inner world and ask yourself, what is it that I truly want? Not what everybody else wants for me. What do I really want? Do I want a house by the beach, or do I want to be secluded in the mountains? Not everybody wants the seaside life, but the mountains might be more your style. That might be your design, and that's okay. But the problem is when you're surrounded by seaside people and you're a mountains person, you're going to be thinking there's something wrong with you, or, oh, maybe I should want that goal of the seaside instead. Does that make sense? Because without that target, it doesn't matter how hard you work, you will keep moving forward, but you won't actually be progressing. Because although it might look nice and look perfect on paper, it won't feel right in your bones. Now, before we do go any deeper into this episode, I want to do something really special, and I want to offer a free one-on-one coaching session to somebody, some lucky listener out there this week. So the way to enter to win this free one-on-one coaching session is to share this episode on your socials and tag Lyssn Podcast and Lyss Natalie. I want you to share with me what resonates the most with you, whether that's through a screenshot or an audio or video grab, I don't really mind. But post it on your stories, tag me, Lyss Natalie and Lyssn Podcast, and you'll go in the draw to win a free one-on-one coaching session with me, where we're going to go through how I get my clients, my beautiful listeners, into a state of understanding their goal, their why, their purpose, and we really round out what I call your bliss compass so that you can have a blueprint of what it is that you need in your life, and you can then step forward into your truth and your most blissful life moving forward. I'm so excited to do this giveaway, and I cannot wait to see what resonates with you guys in this episode. Your why is the anchor of everything. It is not your what, and it is not your who. This is really important to determine because a lot of people think that their who or their what is their why. I'm going to say that one more time. A lot of people think that their who or their what is their why. But that is not the case. It's not your job title. It's not I'm a mom or I run a business. It's the reason beneath those things that keeps you driving forward. It's the thing that keeps you going when your motivation runs out and when life becomes difficult. And it's the thing that gets you out of bed. It reminds you of what it is that you want when life gets loud. And when everything else is shouting at you what you should want, then you can come back to the who you are, which is very different from what you do, and understand the why underneath all of that, which is driving your actions to create the life of your dreams. Most people confuse their what for their why. They'll say things like, my purpose is to help people. My purpose is to be a mum. My purpose is to create art, which is all well and good, but those are just the expression of your why. Your why is the emotion that is driving the outcome that you are desiring. So that might be peace. It might be freedom, belonging, expansion, love. If you're not sure, if you think you know what your why is, I want you to dissect, is this something that is external? Because our external whys, like a car, money, a relationship, those all lead to burnout. Those are searching for meaning through external things, searching for validation from other people based on what it is that you will receive from them, either because of what you do or because of what you own. You're proving yourself, and that will eventually lead to burnout, and that is not alignment. But when it is internal, when it comes from inside you, it is sustainable because your purpose should not be something that you chase. It is something that is already within you. It is something that you remember. It is in your soul. Let's go back to the bow and arrow analogy that I mentioned earlier. Your bow is the foundation. Without that, you can't launch the arrow forward. That is your why. It's what keeps you grounded. It's what keeps you steady, and it's what helps you to find your direction. That is crucial, and that is why it is so important, because it is the foundation, or it should be the foundation of everything that you do. And when it is, life aligns and feels so magical and purposeful. Your bow has strings. Those strings are made up of your core values. Your core values are the things that will allow you to pull your purpose into alignment. Your arrow is the purpose. So we're going to pull back and stretch you. Your values stretch you because you are given daily opportunities to stay in alignment with your values or to abandon your values. So the string creates the tension that you need in order to launch forward. It positions you, and without it, there's no focus, there's no tension, there's no alignment. And so the arrow is your purpose, which ideally, when your why and your values are super clear and they are aligned together and working together in harmony, they can launch your purpose forward towards whatever goal is most aligned so that you can achieve whatever it is that you desire. Your why holds you steady. Your values pull you into alignment. And that combination allows you to have power, to have direction, and to give you the distance to be able to get to where you want to go to. Or should I say, it allows you to cover the distance with more ease than if you didn't have both of those things in the first place. So remember what I said, most people are firing at the wrong types of targets, or they've got the wrong bow and arrow to begin with. They have no aim and no foundation because they don't know what it is that they're firing at. And they're just firing at whatever pretty shiny thing that they can find, hoping that it'll stick. But when your why and your values and your purpose line up, that is where the magic truly happens. That is when your life begins to feel guided instead of feeling forced. And when you start to truly live your bliss. So we're going to do a little practical reflection today. If you're driving, don't worry, this is not going to be a guided visualization or anything like last week. I've got some questions that I've written down, and I want you to really start by asking yourself some of these questions in the hopes that they'll get the ball rolling and get you listening more to that inner voice and figuring out, is this actually aligned with me? Is this something that I genuinely, truly want? Or am I out of alignment? Am I pulling somebody else's bow and arrow instead of my own? Or am I aiming my own bow and arrow at somebody else's target? So if you're unsure of your why, you can actually do these as like journal prompts, or you can just pause between each of these questions and ask yourself. It's really up to you. What breaks your heart to see in the world? What brings you alive even when it is hard? You know, those days that you wake up and you know it's going to be a really difficult day, but you are living your purpose. So it is, you're able to like find that grit and you're able to find that determination because you know that you enjoy it so much. And it may be physically exhausting, but not in a way where your soul and your mind are exhausted. Your soul and your mind are like, yes, let's go another day. I know I've experienced this in so many different ways over the years when it comes to performing. I love every second of it. And there is never one moment where I've gone, you know what? I'm not grateful to be here. And I never, ever have taken any performing opportunities for granted. I remember when I was touring in Rockhampton, for example, with Speak-Lesk, and I was also doing my one-woman cabaret show, Quiet Please, as a lady on stage. So I would do that in the morning, and then we would have 2 shows that evening, sometimes even 3. So when you love what you do and when it is something that is purposeful. So for example, you may be somebody that absolutely loves running. It might be the thing that lights you up most in the world. For me, absolutely not. There is no way. I do not find joy in running. Occasionally during a workout, sure, but if I had to do that day in, day out, I would not find any joy in it and I would burn out so quickly. For you, it might be being an accountant. You may love numbers. That might be the thing that you wake up in the morning and you're like, yes, I get to live my purpose. I get to find these loopholes. I get to, calculate all these things, whatever. I don't know. I'm not an accountant. But anyway, that might be the thing that really lights you up in the morning. And that might be your purpose. And that's amazing. Congratulations. That's awesome for you. Finding whatever that is for you, where you wake up and go, yes, my balloon business. I absolutely love creating magical backdrops for people's events. I find it so creative. I find it so fulfilling and so enjoyable, not only to create a backdrop for someone, but to have the creative control and then to stand back at the end feeling like I've accomplished something and to have so many other people go, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. It fills me with so much joy because I know I'm bringing joy to others. Same thing with performing. I love performing because it's the place I feel most at home when I'm on stage and I am singing in particular, but dancing as well. And I get to bring joy to others. I get to suspend their disbelief for whether it's half an hour or a couple of hours, and they get to spend time reflecting on their own life and seeing what it is that I'm presenting in a way where it can inspire them or it can help them to feel emotions that they may not realize they need to feel. And they get to leave feeling full, feeling lit up, feeling like they are inspired. And that is so incredibly powerful. So essentially what I'm saying is your why, your purpose should be that powerful that it's like a drug to you. And you wake up in the morning and you're like, yes, I need me some more of that. Let's keep going. Now to piggyback off that, the next question is, when have you felt the most fulfilled? This is not the most validated or the most proud. This is deeply at peace. Because as much as you can have that go-get-'em attitude and that, yes, I'm so excited to do this, you should also feel so deeply at peace knowing I am doing the thing that is for me, and that should allow you to have that sense of fulfillment, even if you haven't had the accomplishment piece yet. So the previous question, if you're living that why, you'll feel accomplished. But I want you, before you get to that point of accomplishment, to reflect on, am I feeling deeply at peace doing this and not stressed out of my mind and wanting to achieve it and all the fun's been taken out, feeling truly fulfilled so that you can wake up every single day, even on those hard days, and know that you are on purpose, in alignment, on track, and moving forward towards that. Last question. If you stripped away every label, who would you be? Because remember, like I said before, it's not the what and it's not the who. Your who is not your why. Your why is the emotion underneath everything that you are chasing, whether that's accomplishment, whether that is feeling joy, peace, bliss. That's usually mine. I don't want you to overthink it. You cannot think your way to your why. You have to listen, Lyssn, listen to your soul, to that inner knowing. If you want to, you can always close down your eyes and you can ask yourself. And if you're unsure, my favorite tool, I'm sure you know it by now, close your eyes, hand on heart, hand on belly or womb space, and ask, does this feel expansive? or do I contract at the thought of this? Your body is your intuition. Your intuition is what you should be following, that ability to listen from last week's episode. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it so that you can understand how to truly listen to the difference between your ego and your intuition so that you can make sure that your why is not what your ego is telling you it should be, and it is what your intuition is saying. Your intuition is the map towards the goal that you are chasing. Your why is that foundation, and your purpose, that arrow, is where your energy wants to flow. Now, here is what most people get wrong. Your why is not fixed. Your why will evolve over time. That's why your why that is driving you in your 20s, for example, is not going to be the same why that drives you in your 30s. It is not going to be the same why that drives you through your motherhood journey, through your business journey, through your healing journey. And that's good. That's growth. It's not confusion. And that's where it's really important to understand that your intuition can tell you what that why is, because your intuition's job is to help you to grow, is to allow you to step into the highest and greatest version of yourself so that you can live the highest and greatest version of your life. Your purpose is fluid. It's going to shape shift with you. As you grow and change, it's going to grow and change. As you deepen, it is going to deepen too. But what's important to remember is that your why is always leading you home. No matter how much it changes, it is always going to lead you back home to yourself, to your truth, even if the path keeps changing. So for today's pivot point, you can keep doing this. You can keep running on autopilot and running yourself into the ground, chasing after other people's dreams that aren't necessarily yours, chasing after outcomes and labels and external validation and external objects and titles that will deem you worthy because you think that they look right, but they feel wrong. So you just keep chasing these outcomes and goals that you think are going to help fill your void and keep leaving you feeling empty, or you keep hitting these obstacles and barriers along the way because they're not meant for you, taking longer to actually achieve your dreams and desires. Or you can jump over to following your why, really listening to the foundation of who you are, your anchor, your core, your truth, and listening to it so that you can then make and take aligned action forward to achieve goals that are in alignment with you and your desires, to allow life and the universe to step up and to support you and to hold you and celebrate you for finally following your intuition, your purpose, your why, your inner voice. And you can realign your bow, rooting into your why, really honoring and aligning to your values and aiming that arrow, that purpose towards something that actually genuinely matters to you. The first choice is going to keep you busy and distracted and chasing your tail and wondering why you're never getting ahead and why you're never getting what it is that you say you want. And the other is going to set you free. It's going to be a lot easier. It's going to allow you to breathe and to feel at ease and peaceful and fulfilled. Have you had enough yet of shooting arrows at random targets, not knowing what your goal is, what your target is, and hoping something will randomly stick? Because if I told you that by following this, you could have the life of your dreams, would you genuinely have had enough of this and be willing and courageous enough to listen? When I talk about these pivot points, I find it so interesting because although they may seem like a simple choice, we complicate them so much in our lives. And so many people find it really difficult to be brave enough and courageous enough to actually make that change. They say they want change, but they refuse to do anything differently. And I think this is quite indicative of our society and of our social media and instant gratification generational, era, I guess, that we're in, where we want everything and we want it now and we want it to be easy. Give me the little pill so that I can make this really simple and easy. And what we're not understanding is that resistance is important and that we actually need to be able to listen enough that when we have those moments of resistance, we can honor it and allow it and not get derailed by it. But the first step is being courageous enough and radically honest enough with yourself to be able to say, hey, you know what? This isn't working for me. And I do want all of those things that Alyssa's talking about. I do want that alignment. I want my life to be magical and blissful. And being radically honest with yourself, some people genuinely will say, you know what? I don't know if I do want that. And then, when I'm working with clients one-on-one, I'll ask them, why? Why do you not want that? And most of the time it's because I don't actually feel worthy of that. I feel like I'm worthy of being punished in some way, or like things should be hard for me because I feel like I'm a bad person, or because I don't feel like I'm good enough or pretty enough or skinny enough or have enough money, or there's so many different reasons that we place onto ourselves. But this is the type of work that I do. If this entire concept of this episode has stirred something in you today, then this is what I want you to know. I do this work. I help people to find their purpose, to find their clarity, to find their why, and to get a clearer picture of what that compass looks like so that you can truly live this life if you are ready to step into taking action from the most self-responsible, radically responsible, aligned, brave, courageous place. It takes courage. It does take work, and it takes your ability to do that in order for you to get what you want. But if I said to you, you can have everything that you desire, truly desire, not just the ego's desires, your intuitive desires. If I told you you could have every single one of those, would you actually take the actions to achieve it? That is the real key question that you need to ask yourself. Because in my experience, not everybody does. And I always say to my clients, I am only as effective a coach as you are at taking action. If you haven't taken the action after 3 weeks of me working with you, we are having a conversation, and I always say to that person, this is not working. So we either need to reevaluate the goal or we need to reevaluate our relationship, because I'm not going to just take your money as a coach if you're not going to actually meet me halfway. And that's where people need to be radically responsible. And I have had people say to me before, you know what, Alyssa, actually, no. I thought I wanted to lose weight, but the reality is I don't. I thought that I wanted to create that business, but the reality is I actually don't. I thought that I wanted to have XYZ, but the reality is I actually don't. And the reason why is usually because that's what everybody else said that I should want. But when I really tune into myself, that's actually not what I want. So we either reevaluate goals or we reevaluate the coaching relationship. If you are craving clarity around your purpose and your why, and you don't know exactly how to get there, just know that you do not have to figure it out alone. This is the work that I do to help people uncover the truth of what is really lying underneath, to help them to listen to themselves, to discover their why, and to align them with their values and their purpose so that they can live a soft, sustainable, and fully enriched life that is designed for them and their needs, not what I think is going to be blissful for you, what it is that you need in order to be blissful. Because let's be honest, I am a projector in human design. My most blissful life is having the space to be able to rest. And I also have, my ascendant is in Taurus. So I also have that real cozy, comfy home vibe. But I'm also a Sagittarius, and I love to travel, and I'm a philosopher, and I'm a projector in human design. So I need to be able to teach and to be able to impart wisdom and to be able to help guide people, because that is what I'm designed for. That is my bliss. Living in a space where I'm with my family. I get to stay home with my beautiful boy. I get to work from home, doing this podcast, working online, helping other women to stay home with their babies, designed in a way that works for them. Not in the way that I think they should be working, in the way that works for them. If I have somebody who is a hustle, go generator with all the endless energy, we actually work very well together because the projector generator energy works very well together, and I can feed off of that energy with them and really meet them where they're at. But I get to pull back and live in my most blissful way outside of when I'm working with that person, and they get to go and generate in a way that really allows them to honor their truth. Whether it ends up being one-on-one coaching or my group programs, or whether you are somebody who wants to stay home, and it doesn't have to be to stay home with your babies. You might want to stay home so that you have more freedom to be able to live whatever you believe your freedom lifestyle to be. Maybe you want to invest in a bunch of different businesses so that you can sit back and enjoy passive income. Perhaps you want to be able to stay home more so that you can live by the beach and you can go for hikes and encourage a lifestyle where you get to slow down and honor your cycles as a woman and take saunas and magnesium baths and have this juicy flowing energy where you get to do yoga and all of these beautiful things. Perhaps that's your lifestyle. You may not want a family, and that's totally cool too. This business that I do online allows for whatever it is that you desire. So if you want to work online in that way, I can mentor you in that space as well. You don't have to do it the way that I do it because you're not me. And that is the beauty of our uniqueness and the beauty of a plug and play business that you get to invest in, and you also get to tailor to whatever it is that your design requires and allows for. But whatever it is, your why is the foundation of it all. So becoming super clear on that is the most important thing. Jump on over to Instagram, find me at Lyssn Podcast. That's LYSSN Podcast, or Lyss Natalie, LYSSNATALIE. And come and let me know what has resonated the most with you throughout this episode. Post it on your stories, tag me with both of those accounts, and you will go in the running to win my free one-on-one coaching session to really get clear on your why, your foundation, your purpose, your bliss, and we'll get that compass so that you can step into the next stage of your life fully aligned, living your bliss, and with that detailed roadmap forward so that you know where it is that you are going. And of course, as always, we're going to finish with our whisper from within. Where in your life have you been firing arrows without a foundation at random targets that are not meant for you, and living by someone else's values and wondering why you're not seeing any success? And what would shift if you stopped looking for your purpose and anchored into listening to the truth of your why so that you could start firing those arrows from an aligned space with a strong, solid foundation and truly launch your purpose towards that bullseye of the target you created? As always, my loves, thank you so much for being here. I am so excited to hear all of the things that resonated most with you in this episode. Keep listening to yourself, to your truth, and your why. Thank you for listening, beautiful soul. If you felt something shift, please reflect on it, share it, and let it ripple out into the world. If something spoke to your heart space today, I would love if you could share it with someone that you love and leave us a review, which will really help more of our soul fam to find their way here. If you want to connect with me, if you have questions, topics, if you want to know more about my courses, or if you even just want to say hi, please reach out. I would love to hear from you. Come find me over on Instagram at Lyssn Podcast. That's LYSSN Podcast. Or you can message me directly at Lyss Natalie. My DMs are always open. Until next time, stay soft, stay true, keep living your bliss, and remember, your soul's song is always worth remembering. So keep listening.